We're excited to cover some more calls today and give you guys some more, hopefully, positive feedback on ways to help convert. It's a thing I've been saying for a long time, and I think Dale would agree with this statement. There's only two ways to close two more transactions. That's to call more people and get more clients, which none of us seem to want to do, or let's do better with the people we're already talking to, and that's what Cash Call is all about. So hopefully we'll be able to give you guys some positive feedback. And I know personally, I brought a call today that's not technically wrong. Like, we got the appointment, and I think a lot of people would look at that as success. And here's the thing I want you guys to think about as you're reviewing your own calls, and because hopefully you do that. Hopefully you listen to your own calls and go, boy, I said a dumb thing there. That can be much more valuable than listening to me and Dale. But also, when you look at it, it's not just the success. Did I make an appointment? Did I miss something? Am I going to show up with, and they're going to have their realtor there? Am I going to show up and they say, hey, I got to go look at another house with somebody later? Or, whatever the case may be, there's so many opportunities to go. Most of us can get here, but how do you get here? And that's hopefully what we're going to help you learn today.
Yeah. You know what I want to add to that? Listen, I still say dumb things to people.
We do daily.
Like there's times when I'm like, God damn, I crushed that. And then there's other times where I'm like, why the F did I say that? Right. That was like too much. That was not, that wasn't a great idea. And so at this point, Brian, I don't know about you, but when I say stupid things, when I say things I know I should not have, or I think maybe I could have done it better, really half of it is thinking back to how did I feel in the moment, or what was I trying to do, right? And usually when I say stupid things, it comes from me not feeling comfortable or feeling like I need to overcompensate. And then I say stupid things or add in things that I shouldn't do, rather than coming from a place of confidence or a place of strength in a conversation.
Well, it's funny. People make jokes about this thing. It's called state-dependent memory. And the reason that people make jokes about it, they say, if you're hammered and you can't remember what you did the next day, get hammered again and you'll remember it. Now, I'm not advocating drinking or drugs or anything like that, but that's state-dependent memory. So, but here's the thing that I think is something we don't talk about enough in our industry is your state when you're making a phone call. How many times has somebody, I'll use my kid. God bless my kid. He's not watching, so I'm going to talk bad about him. There was a time when he was 15 that the cops brought him home at 3:00 in the morning, and I got to deal with that. And he didn't end up in jail or anything bad like that. He was just being a kid. But here's my point. When I had to make my phone calls that next morning at 8:00, not because I didn't sleep enough, but because I was so in my head, I wasn't as good. And so, I would love, maybe we'll do a show on this. Like, how do you prepare to make calls? People talk about, well, I organize my CRM, I make a list, I do all that. And that's great from a logistical standpoint. But how do you make sure you're in the right mindset, or you're in the right place, or what I like to call the right state? Because I promise you, being in that state will change your ability to function on those phone calls. And again, do I do this 100% of the time? No. Do I do it most of the time? Absolutely. Because when I put myself in that right state, then I just perform better. And why not? Because it's not like something that takes 30 minutes. So maybe that's something I just want to plant that seed for everybody, because I think it's super important for us to think about, as we're being professionals. A football player doesn't run onto the field 30 seconds before the coin flip and go, I'm ready. There's a process. So I think we should talk about that at some point.
Yeah. Well, let me put it into base. Let me just put it into sort of a base relational idea. That was way complicated. Let me just be a Neanderthal for a minute, okay? If you really want a girlfriend really bad, and you just feel like you need someone to go on a date with you, it makes it much, much harder to attract that person and get them to say yes to you, right?
Amen.
When you need it, it's hard to get. When you don't need it, it's much easier to get. And let's think about the logic there. Let's think about the human nature of that, right? If you are anxious, if you are needy, if you are insecure, if you are not confident, and if you are talking too much or trying too hard, then it tends to repulse people. But if you are confident, if you are centered, if you are present, if you are calm, if you are confident, that attracts people. Now, that is in life, in business, and in real estate especially. So
Amen.
When you say, how do you get yourself into that mindset? Listen, I want to share a personal story. So I had a big, I was anticipating a conversation with potentially a really large partnership, and totally anxious, man, like nervous, wasn't sure about it, like in my own head. And I'm sitting there and these things are going on, and I know these things are going on, but I basically coach myself in those moments to say, okay, I know this means a big deal to you. I know that this is like making you very anxious, and that's okay. But here's what you're going to do. This is the game plan. 1, you're not going to make that obvious. 2, you are not going to overcompensate with your mouth and let this come out, the fact that you're nervous, and basically just be present, ask questions, engage in the moment, right? So that's what you're going to do. So like self-coaching.
Yeah. And here's one of the things that, and I'm clearly the bigger nerd here, but that's okay. So, Dale's breaking it down simple. I'm nerding it up a little bit, but what Dale is saying, here's the reality. Dale has a conversation with me, and I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm making an assumption here. He's not nervous. Like, he doesn't go, oh my God, I got to talk to Brian. No, because we're friends and we have a good relationship. The truth of the matter is you can put yourself in that same mental, physical, emotional state talking to the president of the United States. And, whether you dislike it,
you can try. You can try. But when you're in a situation where it's just so overwhelming, right?
Yeah.
Like Lady Gaga, you're going to hang out with her. So I don't know. I'm just picking something else, right?
Cool.
Whoever you like, U2 from, or Bono from U2, right? You're going to be hanging out with that guy. So when it's like really overwhelming and you're like totally fanboying or fangirling, like you can still like coach yourself and work on it, right? So you may not be able to achieve that state of Dale and Brian calm with each other, but you can at least like be like, okay, I recognize it. Let's fake it. How do we fake calm? What does that look like? What does that feel like when I'm in that calm state? And can I pretend?
Yes, and the truth of the matter is you can. And the truth of the matter is that, and this is something I'm going to promote myself here for a second. I'm going to teach a course, and it's going to include this. It's called an anchor, and you can literally do a thing physiologically that puts you in the mindset. Whether you guys know this or not, and most people don't even know this, if you smile and you're in a bad mood, if you smile enough, your body, the physiology of your body, will make you happy. And I know that seems stupid. People are like, no, a horrible thing just happened to me and I'm miserable. No, but you cannot help it. And there's things that happen on a level that's so far past our understanding. And it really goes back to ancient stuff, like how our minds are built. And we've moved away from that. We're so into all this other stuff that we've moved away from basic core psychology and basic core physiology understanding. So again, I'm a nerd. This is stuff that I love, and I read it and I study it, but there's real ways to do this. And I think that it's extremely powerful to make you a better salesperson, to make you a better negotiator, to make you, and it's not that you don't know it, but it's how you execute it in the moment. So anyway.
Yeah, huge. Well, I want to listen to your call because that's really interesting. Where you said it didn't go bad necessarily, but really being able to improve your game. Again, I have one that didn't go bad either. But I want to get into it and talk about the nuances of what can and can't be done.
Yeah, and I think that's where Dale and I are going here. As I share my screen, I'm going to talk more for a second. But really, what Dale is saying, and at least what I'm saying is, look, guys, not every call, almost no call is going to be perfect, but every call has an opportunity to do just a little bit better. And that's the thing. I don't want you to go, have a call where you set an appointment, it goes okay, and go, man, I really, really sucked, and beat yourself up. But I want you to say, I'm going to do everything I did there and then just do a little bit better. And that's what this is all about. There's a book called Atomic Habits that talks about getting 1% better. That's what cash call is about to me. It's not about learning how to, do something very simple, but it's about getting 1, 2, 3% better. So with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and play this call, and I'll love to hear Dale's comments on it.
Yes, ma'am. I'm doing good.
Good. So you're wanting to look at property at 18712 King Road?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Are you wanting to see that property today?
So I won't be able to today.
Okay.
I'm actually at work right now, but I'm on my lunch break, and I was wanting to see if I could schedule it like around 6 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't know if that's possible. Any day from Tuesday to Friday. Thursday would probably work best, but I can make it work Tuesday to Friday at 6 p.m.
Okay. So we can, it's been on the market for 11 days. It's still in.
So right there, Dale, what's the answer to that question?
Yes. Great. Let's do this time on this day. Now let's go into discovery.
So I think sometimes we get so caught up in trying to do it perfect. Well, okay, it might be available here to, yes, yes is the answer. Yes is the answer.
You can have
It's-
that.
and here's a funny, quick funny story that's aside, but I think it's a great thing. I told my team leader the other day to write this down, make a print of it, and paste it on the wall. Perfection is the enemy of excellence. You don't have to do it perfect. Just do it a little bit better every time. So anyway.
Yeah,
Here.
absolutely. You know, it's funny, Brian, Ed, before you hit play again, is like, it's so funny that you and I both like coaching and training people. It seems so simple to us at this point, but it's like a light bulb has to go off for people when you're like, dude or lady, like you just say yes to whatever it is they want. And then later on, if once you figure it out, if they are ready, willing, and able buyer or seller, then you figure out whether you can actually deliver on that time and that day. Okay, don't worry about it right now. Just get it done.
Yeah, because you hear this too, and it wasn't real bad on this call, but there's those pauses, that awkwardness where the buyer's going or potential buyer's going, don't cause people tension. And again, this is what I'm talking about. This is nuanced stuff, but this is the stuff that will really help you, because somebody would have been like, I don't like this person, not quick enough. And you know what? I might be that person. Maybe that's why I notice it, because I'm like, let's get this going. I'm very impatient, and I'm working on that. I'll get better.
Also, it causes anxiety. The guy's floating in unknown. Will I get the appointment? Will I not? Am I asking for the right thing? Am I not? Am I doing this the right way? Am I not?
Perfect. Awesome. Let's listen to them a little bit more.
Active status.
Okay.
So we can set up, I would recommend with the way the market is, the sooner the better.
I like that.
Because properties go so quickly.
Right.
I can set it up for Tuesday at 6 or Monday at 6
Okay.
or today at 6.
Okay.
I'm pretty open, yeah.
Okay. Let's see. I think Tuesday would work best. I work over here in Bentonville.
Okay.
At Walmart DC.
Okay.
So you notice what happened there? He said, I can go Tuesday through Saturday or Tuesday through Friday. I don't remember exactly when. She tried to push him sooner. Now I'm okay with the script of, hey, by the way, yeah, let's, but he ain't available. So you notice he said I could do it on Monday, or I could do it on Sunday, or what do you come back to? Right back to Tuesday.
Right.
So give him Tuesday, and then say, if you want, and if you're willing, I could maybe set it up on Sunday or Monday.
Yeah,
that's fine.
After you build some rapport, right? Get the appointment, build the rapport. And sometimes you notice, Brian, people change what they're willing to do or what they want to do, depending on how they feel about how comfortable they are with you and or how interested they are in the opportunity.
Exactly. So, and who knows? I mean, I don't know about you, Dale, but our market has almost doubled the inventory it had in May. So yes, it's still a fast moving market, still a seller biased market, but it's not like this house is going to have 30 offers on it in the first 2 days like it did. It's been on the market 11 days is what we find out through the conversation. So it's clearly okay. And, here's a great other thing to do. You can call the listing agent when you're done and say, hey, do you have any offers? When do you take? Oh, yeah. So we're taking all offers by Monday at 6 o'clock. Okay. Now I call that client back and go, hey, Bob, it was great chatting with you today. I can still show you the house on Tuesday, but unfortunately, this is what's going to happen. Are you willing? Are you able to go a little bit? Not now. I've given them what they want, and I've given them a reason to do something different. So, all right, let's play a little bit more.
And so I don't get off work usually till like 6:30.
Okay.
It'll have, and I work today and tomorrow. I work Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So Tuesday would be probably the earliest, but we could make that work.
Okay. Can you see it Tuesday earlier than 6 then?
Again, same thing. I'm not going to beat that dead horse, but why?
More likely not, because my wife works opposite schedule with me, and she gets off at 5, and she works Fayetteville at Region.
Oh, okay.
Pause this.
So
I'm going to guess, with so much time being spent on the appointment and when and can you do it this time and blah, 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 blah. I'm going to guess that she must have missed some portion of the who, where, when, why, what, and how much about this guy's story.
Yes. And that's exactly what's going to happen. So, since we're, running near the end, I'll tell you some things that this call didn't do. She set the appointment Tuesday at 6 o'clock. That's great. Couple other things that she did. She started asking this person about school districts. Now, is a school district important? Potentially, But why create an objection that doesn't need to exist? This person doesn't have school age kids, is what we find out. So, but what if the guy wanted to go see a house and then you say, well, is it in the right school district? And then the guy goes, oh, crap, it's in the wrong school district. Never mind, I don't want to go see the house. Now I've missed the opportunity to meet this person. Don't cause yourself not to be able to meet somebody by trying to do some discovery. Don't talk them out of that. So school district is definitely an important thing to a lot of people who have kids who are school age, but it's not that important.
Well, I was going to give a caveat before you go on. Let's talk about this. All right. So if you have a website registration, in this case, this guy is specifically asking about a property, in which case we want to show it to them, just like what you're saying. So don't screw up showing it to them, the potential of showing it to them, by bringing up something that could otherwise disqualify the house prior to you getting all your discoveries, what you're saying.
Yes.
Now, if it's just a website registration, a social media lead that isn't specifically asking to go see a property, the question of are school districts important to you? Very important question to ask, right? So that's the caveat that I want to.
Yeah, great distinction there. Good point. But again, if somebody's ready to go look at a house, even if it ends up being the absolutely worst house on the planet for them, this gives you the opportunity to meet them in person and make them your clients. So don't miss that opportunity, because every agent you've ever talked to, every agent I've ever talked to says they're better in person, right?
Oh yeah, they all say.
And that's why, and we're proving it on a daily basis, right, with these phone calls. So
why they're better in person is, one, because you can't record it, and two, the person can't go anywhere when the person screws up whatever they're saying or doing. That's why they're better in person.
Well, and I believe that. I also add that people can read people's body language in person. They can read their expressions, and you can't necessarily, you've got to really, really, really pay attention on the phone to you listen to their tone and their volume and all these things changing. It's huge if you can do it right, but most people are not experts at it. So a couple other things that I'm going to say, and then we'll let Dale play his call. Everybody needs to learn transition phrases. What's a transition phrase? So for me, we're off talking about this and we're off talking about that. We're building rapport and everything's great. Dale, I could probably talk to you for the next 3 hours. It seems like we have a lot in common. I don't want to keep you. With that in mind, let me ask you a couple of quick questions. What have I done? I've taken that conversation that was all over the board. I've narrowed it down, and now I can go bedrooms, bathrooms, square feet, price. Are you pre-approved? I can go through all of the things that do that. And it's okay. And because here's the thing, we know maybe two of who, what, why, where, when, and how. We got to get some of that stuff back, because here's the reality. We don't end up understanding this guy's price point. The person has a house to sell, and we really didn't do it. We didn't set an appointment to see their house. So there's just a ton of opportunity here to do that. So, but transitional phrases, just bring people back. Dale, it's been great chatting with you. Let me ask you just a couple of questions before I let you go. Bam, 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 bam.
Did she just miss all those questions? Is that what happened?
Yeah. She asked him if he had a house to sell, and he said yes, but she didn't set an appointment for her to go over and look at the house.
Okay.
So again, half the discovery. And again, you can do that in person. Here's another thing, and Dale and I vary slightly on this, but she also asked him, she didn't ask him any of the other questions, but she did ask, are you pre-approved? And you guys know I hate that question, but if you're going to ask that question, at least ask it this way. By the way, have you been pre-approved, or are you planning paying cash? Or, something that makes it a little bit softer than, are you pre-approved?
Yeah. So I feel like for softening, have you spoken to a lender yet?
Perfect.
That's it. Have you spoken to a lender yet? That's pretty much it. Because, I don't like the are you pre-qualified question either, because it sounds like a disqualifying question, right?
Yeah.
Do you have your papers? Oh shit, I don't have my papers. Okay, well, I can't go look at the house now, right? That's kind of what it sounds like.
Well, and it's true a lot of times, like not for anybody on my team, or not for me, or not for you, but a lot of people, and you see it, you go put something on Lab Coats earlier today, is would you show a non-pre-approved buyer? And you'll see about 70% of the people, nope. So what's a possibility?
Brian, you should be posting in there, all agents in Northwest Arkansas, you should never show a house to an unpre-qualified buyer ever.
Never. But my point is, this person may have talked to another agent who said, are you pre-approved? No, I'm not pre-approved. Okay, go ahead and get pre-approved, then I'll show you the house. So, and it happens. You don't tell me it doesn't happen, because I'm 100% sure it happens. I've heard it.
I think we used to do that back in the day, honestly.
It was training. Never put somebody in your car who isn't pre-approved. How many times
Right.
have I heard that in my life? Now, most
Yeah.
of us don't put people in our cars anymore. But anyway, listen, I want to give you time to play your call. Let's go
We
ahead.
got 5 minutes. Let's just continue on with this.
Okay, let's
Because
do
then we
this.
won't be able to pontificate on my call.
Fair enough.
So we can pontificate on yours. But back to the pre-approval thing, dude, I remember back in the day, like when I was starting out, being like, talking to like, I don't know, you like a physician or an attorney or somebody who clearly makes a lot of money, has a lot of assets, and was not pre-qualified, and just being an arrogant douche, being like, all right, well, you need to go get pre-qualified before we'll talk to you.
Right.
And some other people in my office came to me and they're like, hey man, you got somebody who probably has really good credit and money. I think you should go show them a house.
Yeah. Yeah. And use your judgment, like very seriously. If the guy's, out of curiosity, now, what do you do for a living? Oh, I drive an Uber. Okay. I want to know if this guy's pre-qualified. Not that there's anything wrong with driving an Uber, completely legitimate job, but that person may not be able to buy a $600,000 house. They might, but I'm going to
be their fourth job if they're
right.
buying a
Right.
$50,000 house.
Or who knows, maybe they inherited a bunch of money, they're independently wealthy, they drive an Uber for fun. So I'm not telling you to judge somebody because they drive an Uber or they do a job for $12 an hour, but that might be an indication that, okay, so Dale, you drive an Uber out of curiosity. Have you considered, what a comfortable monthly payment might be for you?
I wanted to see how you were going to bail yourself out of this.
I kind of dug myself in there. Didn't I say we all say stupid stuff? Out of curiosity, what's a comfortable payment for me?
Job.
Yeah, a comfortable payment. Oh, I'm looking to pay about, $3,000 a month. Oh, okay. So, there's something I don't know, and that changes my mindset. Or I've had people do this because if you go on certain websites, they will show you a payment with 20% down with 800 credit score as the payment. Well, who puts 20% down and who has an 800 credit score? I mean, a lot of people have 800, but my point is, and they won't include taxes, they won't include insurance, they won't include MI. So I'm looking at a $400,000 house and it says the payment's $1,000 a month. Well, I can afford that. Well, the payment's $3,500 a month after you add in taxes, insurance, all this stuff. So that's a great question to ask somebody, if you're trying to pre-qualify them without unqualifying them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's an important question to ask. So the pre-qual, again, the language, just you got to use your language better. So back to asking about pre-qual, the reason that Brian and I don't like you asking if somebody is pre-qual, for me personally, simply is because it sounds too clinical. It's like when you ask that question, what the lead hears is, have you completed the step you're supposed to do before talking to me? Mm-hmm. Right? That's what it sounds like when you phrase it. And so it puts a negative pressure on your ability to build rapport and move that relationship forward when you talk like that. And you lose, especially those newer, like the first-time buyers or people who are just kind of thinking about whether or not they want to purchase or something. And you ask, are you pre-qualified yet? It tends to scare them away and shut them down.
Well, and also to your point, disqualifies high-end buyers. Pre-qualification, I can buy you 10 times over. You're a jerk. Who the hell are you? Now, hopefully, I don't think that way, but there are a lot of people who are like I rent a house because I moved and I wasn't sure where I wanted to live. And so we rent for a while and then COVID. And so I'm still renting. But my landlord, I got insulted. She's like, well, how are you going to pay me? And I'm like, listen, lady. And, but in hindsight, I got over it because, we all
why did she say, how are you going to pay me? Meaning
full disclosure, I moved from a different state and I was maintaining my real estate company in that state. And she was just no, she never met anybody who did that. She was a real estate agent.
Got it.
And she was like,
she didn't know how that worked.
Like, how on earth are you going to pay me?
How are you going to get that money over here? I don't.
You're not licensed in Colorado, you live in Colorado, but and I get it. And at the time I'm like, look, you just believe me. And that was just me being arrogant because we all have our moments. And I gave her a couple of years tax return. So what about if they inquire about a specific house, asking their budget when they give, sorry, I ran out of words. When they give a number, great. How'd you come up with the budget? Please don't mention my name. Okay, I will not mention your name, Bob. That wasn't Bob.
except that Bob just messaged the chat to everybody.
Yeah, whether you know it or not, everyone in the chat knows who you are, Bob.
Right.
So anyway,
But thank you for asking the question, Bob.
great question.
Oh,
You know,
man.
when they give you a number, great. How did you come up with that budget? Absolutely, that's a great follow-up question. You know, is that what you're comfortable with? Is that based on what a lender said? You know, where'd you come up with that number? Oh, that person only sent it to the panelists.
Or maybe I was wrong, Bob.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Bob, we were incorrect. Anyway,
Let's talk about that. Let's role play that one out, okay?
Sure.
So, Brian, what have you thought about a budget for your new home?
I have. I'm thinking about $1,500 a month.
15. Well, most people don't say that.
I'm thinking about $800 a month. What do you?
I think they usually say what they want to spend, right? Like 200.
Oh, I want a $350,000 house. That's my budget.
Got it. So, Brian, how'd you come up with that number?
I
don't like that.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
I don't. No. So I think where we were going is asking their budget, and again, you know, they're going to come up with one or two things. They're going to come up with a monthly budget or coming up with that. And if I say, you know, $350,000, great. Where'd you come up with that? I would probably, you know, is that a good question?
How about this, Brian? What if we tried this? Because I want to work this out. Actually, Bob, Matt, message in. What are you trying? I want to know what you're trying to figure out. What do you want to know? Are you trying to determine whether or not they have the financial resources to do this? Here's what we could do, Brian. How to get away from having been qualified. I got it. Okay.
Got it.
How about let's try it out then, Brian. So, Brian, what kind of budget are you thinking about for your new home?
About 300 grand.
300 grand. Got it. Now, did you come up with that number after speaking with a lender or just doing some internet research?
Yeah, I was just looking at some houses on the internet, and they had some calculator on there that, you know, 300,000 ended up being about $1,500 a month. I can't remember, but yeah, it was a number I was comfortable with.
Okay, got it. So 1,500 a month is around your budget, and it sounds like you haven't spoken with a lender yet, correct?
No, I haven't.
Okay, got it. So there we go. Now I think we've gotten all the pieces in there we wanted without asking pre-qualified. You're welcome, Bob.
You're welcome, Bob. So, Bob's my default name for anybody, by the way, that I don't want to say their name. So
there we go.
That's exactly why I went there. But
all right,
yeah,
so,
great question. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you, Bob, for chatting in. Well, we've just given these people 2 additional minutes of quality entertainment and advice today. So you can all make your checks payable to Dale Archdekin, care of Brian Curtis.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, Melissa Iannarino, hey, I need to talk to you. Your group membership with us is up now, and I want to see if you guys want to work with us. Anyway, that was a shameless plug. But good to see everybody today. We will see all of you again next week. Wait, how do you tell them to go get qualified? Wait, hold on.
How do you tell? Oh, perfect. That's a great question. So
Yeah.
I would say, first of all, don't do it in person. Don't do it on the phone. Do it on the person. So when you go look at a house at the end, that's where normally, hey, by the way, you know, I showed you this house. It was great working with you today. Ultimately, I know that you don't want to write our offer on this house because we've had that discussion, but eventually we're going to show you something and you're going to love it. And we want to be able to act immediately. So the next step for me is for you to get pre-qualified. So that way we can send the letter over with your offer to the listing agent, and they'll know you're very serious and your offer will be more likely to get accepted.
Yes.
That's what I say.
Sina, I'll also give you some questions to help determine whether you have a deadbeat or not, because that's basically what you're trying to figure out, correct? Trying to figure out if you have somebody with money and credit. So let's go through that. Brian, 300K sounds great. How'd you come up with, did you get that number by talking to a lender, or were you just sort of, you know, looking around on the internet?
I was looking on the internet.
Okay, got it. And so what kind of payment would you be comfortable with monthly, would you say?
I'm thinking about 1,500.
1,500, got it. And I know that you haven't spoken with a lender yet. So Brian, what do you do for a living?
I'm a consultant.
Consultant, excellent. And so are you currently renting, or do you own a property?
I own a property.
Own a property, got it. So is the 1,500 a month, would that be a step up for you, step down for you, or kind of a sideways move?
It's a sideways move. I hear the market, you know, the interest rates are really low, and therefore I think I could, you know, my current interest rate's like 5.5, and I didn't want to refi because I want to sell it. So
now, Sina, you know, do you think this dude has decent credit and some money to spend, and could probably get qualified based on his answers? Yeah, but I didn't ask him how much money do you have, or what's your credit, or do you have a good job, and how long have you been there? Right? I didn't ask any of that stuff. I'm just having a conversation with him.
Absolutely. And one of the things you can do, and I know we're over, but I'm just going to spend another minute doing this. When you got people that are 6, 12, 18 months out, one of the great ways to get in front of them is ask this question. Out of curiosity, Dale, do you know what your credit score is? Tell me no.
No.
No. Okay. Well, here's one of the things that our service offers. So I can get you with a lender, and here's why you want to do this. I don't know if your credit score is 300 or 900, but ultimately at the end of the day, sometimes people have stuff on their credit they don't even know about. So I can get you with our lender. Won't cost you anything. Will not hurt your credit score. And we give an idea where you're at. If your credit's not perfect for some reason, we can put together a plan. So when you are ready to buy, you can get the absolute best interest rate and save the most money on that. With that in mind, I have time available on Tuesday or Wednesday. Which of those days works better for you? So what we're trying to do is just come up with another reason for them to meet. You're providing them a value. And I often say this too. Sometimes you have stuff on your credit that's not even yours. Because there's some people who go, well, I always pay my bills. I'm perfect. Well, that's true. But I've had people literally have crap show up on their credit report that wasn't theirs. And they thought they had an 800 credit score and they had a 600 credit score because Bob used their credit accidentally. Those things do happen. So anyway, we are way over. Really appreciate you guys taking a couple extra minutes to spend with us, Dale. As always, I appreciate you, and we'll see you next week.
But bye, everybody.